I'm back. So I've done the animation for the body and the upper face. I've polished the animation. I'll show you in a moment what we have. Also, I've ended up adding the eye tweaker controls. These ones, it seemed they were necessary for animation. I also added these guys. They are from the Toon tab. Let me just show you. If we go into our blend rig picker, we have this turn to controller button. So that's where I took these guys from. These are to adjust the corners of our eyes, so I ended up using those. So those are the additions that I did from when we last met. So now let's just check out what I have. And okay, so I'm just going to play back this so that we see what I have.
And you have sinned, so say it now. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
Say it louder. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner. I have abandoned my child.
I will never backslide.
I will never backslide.
I was lost, but now I am found.
I was lost, but now I'm found.
I have abandoned my child. Say it. Say it.
I abandoned my child.
Say it louder. Say it louder.
I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy.
Beg for the blood.
Give me the blood, Eli. Let me get out of here. Give me the blood, Lord, and let me get away.
And you have sinned, so...
Okay, so this is what we have. The body animation and the upper face. The eyes. It's now ready for lip sync. Let me just go back to our animation scene. This is our animation scene. So before we start our to do our lip sync, I just want to give you guys a breakdown of my workflow, because yeah, some of you might want to know how we got to this point. So I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of where we began. So let me just go to the blocking. So this was my blocking. Let me bring up our reference. I'd hidden the video when I usually hide the video when I'm doing my spline and polish. So this is what I had in our blocking. Just want you guys to see what I had. So this is what I'm just going through the key pauses that I did in my blocking stage. Okay. Alright, so these were my key pauses. Another thing that I just want to say to you guys is that when you're doing your keys, it used to confuse me, like how do you know which one to put your key from? I think something you have to keep in mind is, like, whenever there's a major change in the acting, you put your key there. For example, let's say a character is going from sitting to standing. That's like a change which requires you to put a keyframe. It's just an example that I'm giving. Even, let's see. So the thing that happens now is, like, I tend to overlap into my blocking class when I'm doing my key pausing, because at the back of my mind I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put this pause eventually. So sometimes I tend to put some of the pauses that I would have left for the blocking class, I tend to put them again in the blocking stage. But yeah, a thing that you need to just keep in mind whenever there's a major change in the movements of the character, that's where you put your key. That's where you put your key pause. Also, when you're pausing, another thing that you should keep in mind is your line of action. If you see this is a key pause. That's why I emphasize the fact that you have to know your rig. For example, in this pause, my line of action is like going through the body from the top of the head. This is my line of action. So I also use these controls, That's where I use these controls, because I'm like, I don't want the chin jutting out like that. I also try to push it so that it's going through from the top of the head, through the neck, down the body. So when you're pausing, you also have to keep this in mind, the line of action. Okay, so this was my blocking. Now let's move on to my blocking plus. So this was my blocking plus. I did the breakdowns, the in-betweens, and everything. I just want to show you guys my rendered play blast of the blocking plus stage. Let me just show you, and I'll comment. There's a reason why I'm showing you this rendered version of the blocking plus. This was my blocking plus. Let's just play this back.
And you have sinned, so say it now. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
Say it louder. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner. I've abandoned my child.
I will never backslide.
I will never backslide.
I was lost, but now I am found.
I was lost, but now I'm found.
I have abandoned my child. Say it. Say it.
I abandoned my child.
Say it louder. Say it louder.
I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy.
Beg for the blood.
Just give me the blood, Eli. Let me get out of here. Give me the blood, Lord, and let me get away.
And you.
Okay, so this is what I had at the end of my blocking plus stage. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is I want you to understand the difference between the blocking plus stage and the spline polish, what I call my spline polish. Let me go back to my animation scene. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you this, guys, is because I want you to understand that in my blocking plus stage, I'm already working in spline. I think I mentioned this in my dance animation course, but I just want to drive this point home. When my workflow, I already animate in spline. Let's just check my graph editor. So this is my graph editor. I'm already in spline. You see, from the beginning, even from the blocking stage, I'm already in spline. Blocking plus, I'm already in spline. So when now I say I'm moving on to the, let me go back to the top sheet. When now I say I'm moving on to the spline and polish stage, it's not exactly like I'm doing spline and polish. It's more of detailing and polish. Let me just demonstrate. Let's hide this. So when I move from the this is the blocking plus. When I move from the blocking plus to the polish, what I'm essentially doing is like I go to my play blast. This is my play blast, which I've just shown you, the blocking plus, the play blast. And when I go through, let me mute the audio tracks. When I play back my first play blast, my eyes are still fresh, so I'm able to pick things from my animation. You see, I'm like, okay, there's a little glitch happening here. So I'm actually taking notes as I'm going through my play blast. I'm able to pick these things because this is my first play blast. You understand? So I'll be going through my animation like this. I'll be like, okay, the wave shift is not working. I'll be like, okay, the little movement happening here, it's a little bit too fast. I need to tone that down. So I'm taking notes, and because I'm in my I've got this track here, I'm able to pick out the frames where it's happening. So I'm like, okay, at frame this, it's frame 118. So I actually have a notepad. Then I said at frame 118 I need to adjust the movement that's happening. looks like there's a little glitch happening. Then I play back my animation, and as I'm playing back my animation, I'm actually taking those notes. Okay, I'm watching my play blast. Right? And then we have this moment where Daniel explodes. You know, he's like, I abandoned my child, I abandoned my boy. This part, I'm saying, okay, what's going on? I'm saying, okay, the anticipation. At the back of my head, now I have the principles of animation playing at the back of my head. I'm like, okay, what do I need to improve this performance? What's not working? What's working? What's not working? Why is it not working? Because I've put in all the ingredients from the reference. Now I'm using my eye to see how I can improve the performance. You understand? So here I'm like, okay, here when Daniel explodes, there's no anticipation. I need to push the anticipation and exaggerate when he explodes. Even let me bring back the audio track, because I want to make sure that you guys understand this, what I'll be doing in my spline and polish. Yeah, I think this one is a really good example. This part here, up to the end. Okay, let me just play back this. Take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. This was what I had in my blocking plus. Okay, let's play this back.
Say it louder!
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Beg for the blood!
Just give me the blood, Eli. Let me get out of here. Give me the blood, Lord! And let me get away!
This is what I had in my blocking plus. So what I had noted was, okay, the emotions are not coming out well in his eyes. You know, those eye pupils, they're not like showing the emotions, the emotion change, which is what we want in the eyes. And also the anticipation that I mentioned when he explodes. He explodes in anger at first, then he switches his emotion from anger to like realization that he has abandoned his child for real. You know, so you need to capture those things. Those are the things that I then adjust in what I call the spline and polish. It's actually a detailing and polish stage where I'll be deleting things that are not working and adding things, my artistic touch to the animation, so to say. Now let's compare this performance with what I then did in my spline and polish. So let's hide this track. Let's watch this.
Say it louder!
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Beg for the blood!
Just give me the blood, Eli. Let me get out of here. Give me the blood, Lord! And let me get away!
So I hope you guys have seen the change. You've seen what I'm trying to explain to you. The emotions are now showing in our blocking plus. Those emotions were not showing. The eyes were not expressive enough. When there's the head movements, I did some squash and stretch, you know, some anticipations, some follow throughs in the head. So those are the things that I'll be doing in my spline and polish. I just want to point that out to you guys. I hope it helps. Okay, so now that we by this stage, we're then going to move on to adding our lip sync. We have polished our body, we're happy with our body, we're happy with our upper face animation. So the next stage that you need to do is let me bring out our reference. That's our reference. So in this spline and polish, you don't need your reference. You're just working with what you're seeing and using the principles of animation to enhance the performance. You're deleting parts of the performance that are not working. You're just working with your playblast and trying to really put out a good performance. Okay, on to our lip sync. I'm just trying to find a pose where Daniel is looking at the camera. Or maybe what we can do, let's just go to frame 1, duplicate this data block, and now let's name this Daniel lip-sync. Let's put a fake user to it. So this is how I do it. So I select all the controls because I don't want, we have already finished the body animation. Let's delete these from our data block because this is just supposed to be the lip sync. I don't want any movements in the body. I want my body to be still. Okay. So if he were moving around, like in our last course, the acting shot where we had Akko moving around, I would have to put a face cam, but already in this animation scene, this is our face cam, so we're just going to use this one. So I'm going to do this so that he's facing the camera like this. Then after doing this, let's hide the other controls we do not need. So we're going to hide these. We don't need these. The upper head controls and the head controls. Let's just hide them. Because now we are dealing with the face. I mean with the lip sync. Let's hide these. And these ones we have already animated. These ones we know they are working. Select these, hide, and we're good to go. So if I had shot my own reference video, this is how I would have my reference here. So the reference would be of my face. I actually, as I mentioned, I record my face saying the audio in sync, and I pay particular attention to my mouth. I'm not concerned with the facial expression, the whole facial expression, because I would have captured that in my actual performance, my actual whole performance of the body and everything. That's where I take my upper face animation from. So the reference that I'll be using is for the mouth, for the lip sync, because that's what we're doing. So I'll have a close-up shot of my mouth saying the recording in sync with audio. So this is what we're going to be using. It's similar to how I would do it. I would have a face cam showing my lip sync. I'm just checking to see if we have the tongue controls and everything. Yeah, I think everything is in there. Everything is in there. So let's just key. Let's put our keyframe here. Okay, so the way that I do my lip sync, I work on twos. I put a keyframe on every 2 frame. I'll just be looking at my reference and copying the mouse shapes. So I first work in increments of 10, like for every 10 frames. I go frame 10, I put a keyframe, select everything, I put a keyframe, and I work like that. I just plug in my headphones and do the keying until I reach the end. It sounds boring, but it really is effective, guys, you know. So let me just demonstrate my bit so that you guys have a clue Okay, so let's say frame 686. Of course, Daniel is acting. There's an acting shot. If it were my reference, I'll be looking straight at the camera, so I'll be able to see the mouth shapes. But just some tips that I wanted to give you guys. You should not change the emotions of the character when you're lip sync, when you're doing your lip sync. What I mean is, if he says maybe the letter E, the letter E, the tendency is to do this. You say E. E like this. Where's our teeth control? What's this? Okay. Let me just bring out the pig. I'm trying to find the teeth control. There's the teeth control. Okay. I'll look for the teeth control. I can seem to find it. The control for the teeth. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you're doing, say, he's saying the letter E, you should not. If he is angry, if the emotion of the character is angry throughout the shot, you shouldn't do this. Always keep your mouth corners down, regardless of what he's saying, that way you ensure that there are no conflicting emotions on his face, and those little glitches when he's doing his lip sync, they will not be there. So just a little tip that I wanted to give you. Also, remember to pinch the mouth corners. These mouth corners. I always make sure that I pinch these mouth corners like this. Let's see. Like this. Okay, remember to pinch those mouth corners. It's just a little tip that I want to give you. Don't leave them open like this. Don't leave them open. Just remember to pinch them, sit those mouth corners when you're doing your lip sync. Yeah, I think that's the process. Actually, that's the process, guys. Always remember to rotate around your character, bring these in the mouth corners. Remember the curvature of the teeth. You do not want your lips to be like this. I've seen people who leave there. It's just like, this character is it's a really good rig. I mean, JP Bowser, he really did a good thing, a really good job with this rig. His lips, they follow the curvature of the teeth very well. They follow the curvature of the teeth very well, so it's really not a problem with this rig. But with other rigs, you really have to make sure that those mouth corners, they are pushed in, and they are, sort of they are pressed against the teeth. So that's another thing that you need to watch out for. Okay, so this is the process, guys. Let's just do this. Increments of 10. Every 10 frames you put a key, then you come back. For every 2 frames you put your keyframes. Then after that, similar to what I did with the body, I did the blocking pass, then I did the polish. I'm also going to do the same with the lip sync. After I'm done keying everything, every 2 frames, I'm going to do a play blast, then I'm going to do a polish pass. In the polish pass, it's exactly similar to what I did with the body. I'll be going through my lip sync. Maybe I'll be going from frame 1 to 100, checking if my mouth, my lip sync is indeed in sync with the audio track, and also be looking where I need to put holds. I mentioned those M's, those B's, those P's. Those need to be those need you to hold for maybe a frame or two. So I'll then go through that in my spline and polish. I'll be seeing what's working, what's not working, deleting keyframes and adding some keyframes. So I'm just going to do that, and when I come back, I'm going to show you guys a breakdown of my raw play blast without the spline and polish. Then we'll do a comparison, kind of what we did with the body. Okay, so yeah, let's go through that, guys, and I'll be back.